Hey guys, it's Delaney Chapman with Anglers All. We're in the studio today tying up Chad Johnson's Mini Johnson. It's a little articulated streamer. Let's get into it. All right, we're getting started on a Gamakatsu B10S and a size 4, and I'll be using the Vivus GSP and 100 denier. We're just gonna start our thread out here. And work our way back down to the bend of the hook. And I'm gonna stop right about at the point of the hook there and tie in my 2 schlappen feathers. I've measured these out to be about the length of my index finger, and then we're gonna tie these in on the side of the hook. And try to get them nice and straight. Measure these up to be the same length. Like so. And I'm gonna come in and snip these little tags off. Next, we're gonna tie in a UV polar chenille in gold. I'm gonna leave a small gap there at the end. As I wrap this up, I do wanna make sure I'm pulling back the fibers just to make sure nothing gets trapped. And on the third wrap, I'm gonna really cinch that guy down. Just give it a nice tug. And just repeat that all the way up. Do that last one. Come in here. Get those out of my way. Get some locking wraps. Alrighty. Just gonna clean that up a little bit. And then we're gonna add our marabou. I'm gonna tie in a barred marabou from MFC. This is the tan and black. And I've just stripped away one side of that just to expose the quill. And I am gonna tie this butt in at an angle because it'll help me get started when I palmer this. And we're just gonna palmer this up to the eye, doing the same thing we did with the chenille there. Just pull those feathers out of your way. Make sure you're not getting anything trapped. Good there. Come over, trap that down, pull everything back. And then I'm just going to take the very, very end of that and pluck that out. Once we're there, I'm going to put a little bit of zap just on my thread to help kind of keep that whip finish in place. Our back hook is done. Now that we've finished our back hook, we're going to throw in another B10S. This is a size 2 though. And instead of starting up at the eye here, I'm going to start about 3/4 of the way down the shank. Set that off, and then make my way back down to the bend of this hook. This time, instead of stopping at the point, I'm going to stop right about the barb. And this is where we'll tie in our intruder wire. Tie those in. I do want to leave about a bead length gap in between the eye and that last bead, so that's looking good. And then we're going to wrap these up on the side of the hook. Once I get up to the top there, I'm going to take them and fold them over and trap them to the sides of the shank. Just kind of secure it in there so that that back hook's not coming off. You don't have to go all the way down. Happy with that. Clean that up and then go back down to the bend of this hook. Once I'm there, I'm going to take another plume of marabou. Do the same thing, strip away one side and expose the quill. Once you've done that, I'm going to tie it in at an angle again. And start to palmer it. Just pulling back those feathers again. In, push these all back, trap that in place, and then we're just going to take our little stem and pluck it out. Just like that. Once you finish with that piece, we're going to grab a second plume of marabou and expose that quill again. And we're just going to tie it in at an angle like we did with the first two, just to kind of keep us in the groove when we're palmering. And continue to pull all that stuff out of your way. Finish that off. Just like that. We're going to take our polar chenille again. Tie that in. And work our way back up to the eye, leaving just a little bit of space to add some deer hair in there. One more. Just give that a nice tug. Lock that in. And next I'm going to add in some natural deer hair. I'm using spinning hair. You can use a belly hair or a all natural, all purpose hair. I'm going to take my tips and kind of just measure them out to where they're just kind of starting there at the marabou. And that'll kind of create a nice prop for the crafter. So I'm doing a counterclockwise spin on my thread. And then I'm going to do 2 loose wraps on the deer hair. And when I cinch that down and that hair starts to flare, I'm going to release pressure on my pointer finger and my thumb, and the hair will just kind of start to spin around the shank of that hook. And you just want to work that around the shank. Just like that. Gonna pack it back like so. Advance my thread forward. And then do a 2-turn whip so I can start trimming this head. Grab my razor blade, and basically what I'm going to want to do is just put a slight bend in this blade and kind of create a curved top and then keep the bottom of it flat. The bottom. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Once we get to this point, we're going to add our craft fur in. And I've already prepped this, so when you cut it off, just make sure you brush out the butt of it, get all that gunk out of there. And then I'm just gonna kind of measure this out. And I want that craft fur to kind of just blend in with the marabou. And then we're gonna do a reverse hollow tie with this. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie these butts in and then just fold it over so that you get a nice head out of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the butt of this craft fur and just kind of jam it and center it in the middle there. And kind of just get a hold of these hairs. I like to do a few loose wraps and then really just tighten it down. A few more. We're gonna come in here and get our eye all exposed. Get our thread. Pull our thread through, and then just create a thread dam at the eye. Just like that. Once you're happy with that, get your zap back out. Brush a little bit on the thread again. That'll be our head cement basically. And then I'm gonna throw a whip finish on top of that. And that's the fly. Thanks for watching. If you guys want to see any more content, check out the YouTube where we got more streamers and trout bugs on there for you guys.